Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations. Much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. Now, this lesson is going to be dealing with the Israelite foreigners, the strangers, if you will, because there's a difference between the strangers that are actual heathen and the strangers that are Israelite foreigners. Because the word stranger, when you look it up, a lot of the times you will see gar, right, which means an actual Israelite, not an Israelite, it means a foreigner. All it means is foreigner. So a foreigner can either be an Israelite foreigner or an actual heathen foreigner. Okay? And there's different instances where the Most High is speaking about an Israelite foreigner, and then when the Most High is speaking about a heathen foreigner. Okay, and you have to understand the difference. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to go to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, okay? And this is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 43. We know this is dealing with the curses. It says, "The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low." So this is speaking about the stranger as in an actual heathen, okay? Because the reason why they're getting up very high and you're coming down very low is a punishment to you as the seed of Israel. This is part of the curses as the seed of Israel, okay? So we know that's speaking about a foreigner, because if it was speaking about another Israelite, they would be under the curses as well. Okay, it says, "He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever." Now the seed is coming from who? From Jacob. So wherever that seed is scattered, as long as it's the seed, these curses would be upon them. I don't care if they look like so-called white people, so-called Chinese, so-called Egyptians, Mizraim. I'm talking about the Sudanese. I don't care how they look. If they're the seed of Israel, these curses will be upon them. Okay? So that's how we know that's not speaking about the stranger as in an Israelite foreigner. Okay? So when you look up that word for stranger, it's gar. Okay? So, matter of fact, let's look up the definition. Let's look up the definition of gar. Now, the definition of the word gar is what? Stranger, alien, right? Sojourner, stranger, stranger, stranger. So all it means is a stranger, an alien, or a foreigner. Sojourner, right? A temporary inhabitant, a newcomer lacking inherited rights. Inherited rights. Why? Because they're new. Okay? If an Israelite goes, through generations and generations, he was living in the land of Moab, and he comes back, he doesn't have a plot of land there for him, because his family done already left. Okay, and they left everything that might have pertained to their family line. You see what I'm saying? Of foreigners in Israel, though conceded rights. Okay, let's look up this word conceded. All right. And this is why there was a particular time when there were particular Levites, and they couldn't find the records. Surrender or yield. Okay. Of foreigners in Israel, though yielded rights. So they gave up their rights. Right? Let's say if they were an Israelite and they left and they came back, they don't have the same law. They don't have the same rights as an Israelite that was always in the land of Israel. Okay, they're known as a stranger. That's why there's a scripture which speaks about there shall be one law for the homeborn and one law for the foreigner. This is Exodus 12. Right. Okay, this is Exodus 12 and verse 48. And it reads, and when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to Yahweh, let all his males be circumcised. And who's the ones that are going to keep the Passover? It's only the Israelites that are supposed to keep the Passover. You see? And then let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, right? Meaning he was born in the land, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you, all right? So one is for the Israelites that were born in the land, and another law is for the Israelites that were not born in the land, the Israelites that were sojourning in the land or newly came back. Okay, so this is what you have to understand. So now this is dealing with an Israelite. Okay, this is dealing with it. This is also dealing with an Israelite, because it spoke about keeping the Passover and things of that nature. All right. So let's go to, matter of fact, let's go to Romans. Let's go to Romans. Because Romans 9 tells you what you need to know about the service of the Most High. This is Romans 9 and verse 3. It says, for I could wish that myself were accursed from Hamashiach, for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption, which is the Lord dying on the cross and redeeming us back to the Father, and the glory, right, which is this starts with this truth, but also the kingdom, all right, and the covenants, both covenants, all right, the old and the new, and the giving of the law, and the service of the Most High, and the promises. So if anyone's coming to serve the Most High, they have to be an Israelite, okay, and the promises. Whose are the fathers, and of whom concerning the flesh Hamashiach came. So he came for the Israelites, who is overall the Most High blessed forever. Amen. So we know that the service of the Most High pertains unto the Israelites. Okay. Now you might say, oh well, there was heathen that came out of Israel. Yeah, there was heathen that came out of Israel, but they were being purged out. Okay, the Lord purged them out with that wicked generation. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? There was a sprinkle of foreigners in there, but the Lord was purging them out. And eventually, when we got into the land, there was a separation, man. Okay, there was a separation. All right, the Lord is not going to have the kingdom of heaven be ruled by partly the Israelites and partly heathens. That's not how it's going to go. As a matter of fact, when you go to Daniel's, what's that? Is that Daniel's the 2nd chapter? And even when you deal with Numbers, okay? This is dealing with the statue. By the way, vocab, which part of the statue are we at? You know, which part of the statue are we at? Okay. You see? Because vocab doesn't want to deal with this, because this is prophecy. And this shows you that we're in the Edomite rulership when you look at what part of the statue we're in. And that Yahweh Shai is coming back to take this place out. This is Daniel 2 and 44. It says, and in the days of these kings, right? Meaning the different empires that were on the statue. You had the Babylonians, the Persians, the Medes, and even the scholars tell you that this is listed here. Look, see, started with the head, right, which was Babylon. Look, see, Babylon the first, and then what, the Medo-Persian Empire, and then the Greek Empire, which was the brass, and then the iron was the Roman Empire. And now we're at the extension of the Roman Empire, which is the iron mixed with clay. And that's the time when when Yahweh Shai is coming back, which is now. Okay, he's coming to smite defeat. All right. So that's all you got to really bring up with vocab. What part of the statue are we at? Oh, well, I guess we're at the toes. Yeah, you're at the toes. Then how are these people claiming to be Israelites when they run the earth? You see? Let me read this, man. This is Daniel 2:44. It says, and in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed. That's the kingdom of heaven. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people. Meaning what? Other nations. It's not going to be left to other nations. But it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great power hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. This is a fact. Okay, so we know what Yahushua is coming to break in pieces this kingdom. All right, but the point is what? Is that the kingdom of heaven will not be left to other people. There's not going to be other nations ruling in the kingdom of heaven with us. That land, first of all, when we were in the land of Israel, there was heathens up in there too, right? Like there was the Zidonians and things like that, and we were trying to get rid of them out of the land, but it wasn't time for them to get out of the land. Okay, it wasn't time for the Philistines to get completely out of the land. That time is coming in the time where when Yahushua comes back to establish the kingdom of heaven. So you have to know when it speaks about the stranger being joined unto us, and this is not speaking about actual heathens. This is speaking about Israelites being joined back unto us. Let's get Isaiah 2nd chapter. Then I'm going to get Isaiah 11 and 11. All right. Lord's will. This is Isaiah 2:1. It says, the word of, no, this is not what I want. Excuse me. Although this is good, this is not what I want though. Okay. Matter of fact, I could also read this too though, you know, because this shows you that we're going to be, the only thing we're going to be doing is teaching these other nations how to live righteously. Okay, this is Isaiah 2:1. It says, the word that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. Does it say Moab? Does it say Amalek? No, it's concerning the Israelites. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains. Meaning what? Our government is going to be above all other governments, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it, and many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the power of Jacob, the God of Jacob that never changed. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. So the only reason they're going there is to get the instruction of how to live. They're not going there to live amongst us or to rule with us. No, they're going there to receive instruction. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. So this is what's going to happen when the true Israelites are back in the land. So anyways, let's get Isaiah the 14th chapter. This is really what I was thinking about. This is Isaiah 14 in verse 1. It says, for Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And like we read in Daniel's the 2nd chapter, it shall not be left to other people. Okay, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Okay, so if there's going to be strangers that are going to be cleaving and actually living there, then that would be dealing with Israelites that are actually going to be living in that land. Okay, Israelites that are coming from different parts of the earth. Okay, the scriptures speak about them gathering our sons and our daughters from different places, you know, and them flying upon the shoulders of the Philistines and so on and so forth, man. So this is getting ready to come. Okay, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So we're going to take the heathen captive and rule over them. Okay, so it's very simple. You know, if they're going to be in the land, they're going to be in the land as captives and servants unto us. They're not going to be ruling, and they're not going to be on the same level. So that's what I mean when I say that they're not going to be. We're going to dwell alone. When it says that, it means that we're going to be, you know, in rulership alone. They're going to be there only as servants and handmaids if there are strangers amongst us. They're not just going to be there with a house and a plot of land. No, they're going to be serving. You understand what I'm saying? That's it. So let's get Isaiah 11 and 11. Okay, this is what I wanted to get, Isaiah 11 and 11, to show you the Israelites are coming from all places in the earth. Okay, so they would be considered what? Strangers. And now at this time, we were all considered strangers, really. Okay, this is Isaiah 11 and 11. It says, "And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea." Now this is amongst the heathen, right? Because that's part of the curses too, that we would be scattered amongst the heathen. So guess what? They're going to be looking like these heathens. They're going to speak these heathens' languages. They're going to have grown up following these heathens' customs. See, these are strangers, okay? And he shall set up an ensign, right? A sign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcast of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. You see that? So the Lord is going to gather together, right, the Israelites from the four corners of the earth. Okay, and we're going to rule the other nations. It's not going to be a democracy. It's not going to be, live and let live. No, they're going to have to learn the ways of righteousness, or there's going to be a punishment for them. Now, when you come to Acts, the 2nd chapter, okay, when the Spirit came upon them on the day of Pentecost, right? The Holy Spirit came upon the apostles, right? It says, this is Acts 2 and 4. It says, "And they were all filled with the Holy Spirit, and began to speak with other tongues, as the Spirit gave them utterance. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. Now when this was noised abroad, the multitude," hold on, let me read that again. "And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews," okay, devout men out of every nation under heaven. So devout Jews, devout Israelites out of every nation under heaven. So they will be, when they came back to the land, what were they considered? Strangers, but they were Israelites. This is why they were even speaking to them in the first place. Okay, it says, "Now when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, Behold, are not all these Galileans?" Right? Because the Galileans, right, were not known for being learned. They were known for just speaking only Hebrew. Okay? "And how hear we every man in our own tongue when we were born? Parthians and Medes, Elamites." Hold on, it's not an Elamite a heathen nation? Why are they being called Elamite and Parthians and Medes? Because they were living amongst those people. "And the dwellers of Mesopotamia and in Judea," right, these were the actual homeborn Israelites, okay, "and Cappadocia, in Pontus and Asia, Phrygia and Pamphylia, in Egypt and in parts of Libya about Cyrene, and strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes," okay, meaning what? Newly converted, Cretes. Right, meaning what? They were newly converted to what? To their own customs. Newly converted to the fact that they were actually Israelites. Okay? You see, us, we're newly converted. Okay? We didn't grow up knowing that we were Israelites. So what? That means what? We're newly converted to being Israelites. Okay? But you see, but there was a lot of those people that were living in those lands, but they were following the customs, keeping the Passover, going to Jerusalem 3 times a year, so on and so forth. But they were just happened to be living in lands amongst heathens. Okay? It says, Cretes and Arabians, we do hear them speak in our tongues the wonderful works of the Most High. And they were all amazed and were in doubt, saying one to another, what meaneth this? Okay, so anyways, so you see that these are Israelites that are scattered. Now, going to a very significant time, why it mentions neither Jew nor Greek and things of that nature. It's not speaking about the Most High likes Israelites and then he only likes the Greeks as well. No, it's speaking about the Israelite foreigners because there was something significant that happened during the Greek rulership. Okay, so when you go to First Maccabees 1:42 or 1:41, it says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king, right? So this included the Israelites. They wanted the Israelites to leave from our customs, to follow after their wicked, evil ways. You see? Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange customs or the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, which the scriptures say that they only consult to cast us down from our excellency. And that's what he was doing here, making sure that we were separated from our power. And the same thing he's doing now to Jake. Okay, pushing this gangster rap and, you know, McDonald's. It's always a Jake in the McDonald's commercials with the biggest pieces of bacon in the thing, because they're promoting that to you Israelites to go off. It's the same playbook that Esau is using now. And pollute the sanctuary and the holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. And the ultimate pollution that Esau is getting ready to do is to put that micro C-hip inside the people. Okay? Said that they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation. So that goes into what? The circumcision and the uncircumcision. See, these were Israelites, but these were Israelites that were wicked sellouts that left from the customs of Israelites and became Greeks, you see, to the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. See, so there was a penalty of death for not following these wicked ways. You see that? So now, and if they would find someone that had their baby circumcised, they would put them and the mother to death. So these devils are real cruel, man. And that's the Edomites, okay? The Greeks, it was the beginning of the Edomite rulership. This is 2 Maccabees 6 and verse. I'll start at verse 3. It says, the coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people, for the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles, who dallied with harlots and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places, and besides that brought in things that were not lawful. The altar also was filled with profane things which the law forbiddeth. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient fasts, or to profess himself at all to be an Israelite. And in the day of the king's birth, every month they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. Damn. And when the fast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus carrying ivy. And guess what? These Israelites are following after that custom today, right now. Okay, so what are they? They're nothing but heathen. They're actual strangers or Gentiles, right? When you go to even the Benjamites, they have a particular celebration called Bacchanalia, which that goes back to what? Bacchus, man. All right, which is that what them different festivals and parades, the we call that thing jump up, caravana, these different things, man. All right, these different festivals, man, carnivals, you know. It goes back to Bacchus, man. And you see sometimes they're there and there'll be certain people that wear these big horns. These are demonic things. And then the women are all dressed lewdly, basically naked, you know, and the men are shirtless or whatever, man. Drunk. So this is all going back to idol worship. But guess what? They're basically Greeks. This all goes, you know, a major falling away came at the time of Antiochus Epiphanes, man, which was that wicked root that came out of the wicked, the wicked root that came out of the wicked, which was Antiochus Epiphanes, man. See, so he was the cause of a lot of mischief, all right, amongst the Israelites. So this goes into what the Gentiles that are actually Israelites, the foreigners that are actually Israelites, okay. Okay. This is 1 Corinthians 12:1. I'll start at 1. It says, "Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have ye ignorant." Now you're speaking to the Corinthians, which are Israelites in Corinth, Greece. "Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led." And we just read about how they were led into following Bacchus and profaning the Sabbath, leaving from their customs. Okay, so this is it. All right. So this is it. Let me read that again. It says, "Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led." Well, hold on. What were they practicing before? Were the heathens practice following the Hebrew Israelite God before? No, the heathens were always practicing following their God. The Most High was only dealing with the Israelites. That's how it's always been. So the heathen never knew the Most High. So how are they going to be? How are they going to be carried away to dumb or led into dumb idols, lest they were always into dumb idols? They were they were worshiping the power before, the Heavenly Father before. You see, right? And even when you deal with the word the reconciliation, that means to be made friends again. To reconcile with somebody, that means that you were once in favor with them. The Most High was never dealing with the heathen, so you know that they were never in favor with the Most High. So that right there proves that it's not speaking about the heathen. Okay. This is Psalms 147:19. "He sheweth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his commandments and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh." So with that, Lord willing, this was edifying, showing you that the heathen have nothing to do with the inheritance of the Israelites or ruling in the kingdom of heaven, but they're going to be servants and handmaids, so on and so forth. So with that, I'll give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh B'Shem, Yahweh Shai B'Shem Chakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations, much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. Shalom.